Look around the room. Net gear, light, camera, Power Rangers. Action. Welcome to another episode of 3 Hours Later. I'm Matt, joined with Alex.
Hey.
And Hannah.
Hi.
I can't see you. Oh, there you are.
Oh, fuck.
No running. Today we gathered together to talk about things that we've experienced in the last month.
It's been a while.
Sometime.
Well, I mean, we literally recorded like a few days ago and talked about Justice League. That was a week ago. I know,
yeah, but that was more
time
like
dilation.
That was more therapy. We're gonna talk about things that we liked.
These things we voluntarily watched.
Yeah, not forcefully for 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So majority we're gonna be talking about. I don't even know what the title is. Is it Winter Soldier and the Falcon, or is it the Falcon and Winter Soldier?
The Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
in front of both.
the America boys. And
the Falcon, the Winter Soldier, the Marvel.
Talking about Invincible later. Also,
the Invincible.
Spoilers. The Invincible. So spoilers for both. But first, we're gonna just kind of catch up.
Yeah,
Hannah, go.
Alex,
go.
I will say, we talked about this in our Facebook chat. Saturday has now turned into my like adult version of like cartoon, like my Friday cartoons or my Saturday cartoons as a kid, because I have like a full lineup of like shows I watch now. I mean, there is like the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. There is Invincible, but there's also Mighty Ducks that come out. There's My Hero Academia that comes out. Sundays for Attack on Titan, but like there's like a whole lot of shows I just binged this past Saturday, and it was fun. It was like 5 hours of shows, of new shows. We haven't really had like a whole lot of new shows like this, like at least that I've been excited about, and that are weekly.
Well, and the crazy thing is like it's the same type of day for me too, only I watched totally different shows than you watched. So there's just so much stuff coming out on that day.
Yeah.
But like I watched Solar Opposites.
Yeah, I just finished that actually yesterday.
I thought you meant like we watch opposite shows,
but also solarly.
But also solar.
I was gonna say also
it's eco-friendly opposites.
Alex's Saturdays have changed a lot too since he switched to vodka instead of milk in his Cheerios.
Oh yeah, he enjoys everything now.
Yeah, work, sleep,
get Cheerio drunk.
So we're gonna talk about Invincible as a group later on because we all definitely watched that, but I haven't watched Mighty Ducks. So why would I want to watch that, Alex?
Why isn't it the cool cartoon from the 90s?
Wait, there was a cartoon?
Yeah, and they were ducks. They were actual ducks. And they fought crime.
What?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
How do I have no memory of this?
Because we're like a decade different.
You had a
I know
job.
the movies. I knew the movies.
You were paying taxes.
We were just.
I mean, I was making sure your schools were funded.
I was still being claimed.
I was only 18.
You adult.
You voter.
Holy shit! I
go to war.
I had no idea the show existed. I thought I knew everything about duck-based Disney cartoons. I was wrong.
This is a continuation of the movies, which is pretty cool. It's
so the cartoon ducks don't show up.
No, I don't know.
Fuck.
It's only been one episode. And how ballsy of Disney, we get like 3 episodes of WandaVision. They only give us one of Mighty Ducks. But it's like 40.
One of Winter Soldier too.
That's true.
I was gonna say kind of needed the 3 for WandaVision, or else I wasn't gonna watch.
Yeah, that was different. Worth it though. It's a continuation, and the trippy thing is, we're not the team isn't the Mighty Ducks. It's the Mighty Ducks are the big bad guys now, and there's a new team that forms within this first episode.
Are they doing Cobra Kai?
They're doing Cobra Kai. Oh, that's right. Yes. Yeah, that's exactly what happens.
I only have room in my heart for one.
Yeah, right. I'll go with karate, but it's kind-hearted show. I love the cast. It's only one episode, so can't really dive too much. But I like it. I like what the story they're building, which is the underdogs that were typically the Mighty Ducks, but now it's a new team with a new name. Trying to find a ring, trying to find a coach.
So is it still like the old ass Mighty Ducks playing against these children? Because they do sound like bad guys.
It's the grown-ups that are just beating the shit.
It's just like it's just a team of stingrays.
Goldberg, the goalie, just comes up and just lays out a kid, just like
No,
fuck you.
you find Goldberg in someone's garage doing that.
Oh, just in the alley.
He's okay now.
So I can make fun of it now.
Yeah,
That's true. Oh yeah, you know we
Dave.
make fun of Robert Downey Jr. Remember when he did that?
Yeah.
Oh, that
Eating
guy.
nasty
And now
ass
he's
burgers.
Iron Man.
Remember when Matthew Broderick ran over someone?
Oh,
No.
yeah. Well, Ferris Bueller shouldn't have that day off.
She's trying to turn back the speedometer.
So the kids league still, but they're moved up. So the team is now like the 12 to 14. And since we last left in the movies, Mighty Ducks have just been on a tear. Like they're like state champs. They're like, now we're just the best of the best. And now they just weed out all the kids that aren't so good. And that's how
Trashing
you get
hotels, going on benders.
yeah.
So is Emilio
He won the
Estevez? I mean,
tournament.
he's in it, but
Uh-huh.
is it a cameo or is he like for real in it?
He's for real in it. I don't want to give too much away, but they
He has a heart attack
Oh.
and dies in the first episode. He looks real bloated. I could believe it.
And then he gets replaced by
Exactly.
Ashton Kutcher.
he
Yeah.
does eat a lot of cake in the episode. But instead of the Mighty Ducks, wanting the underdogs or building them up, they're just the ones to beat, and they're just now a bunch of they're the popular kids, and they really did Cobra Kai it. But
Yeah, one of them's got a mohawk and take away
he
from
got a
his lip.
tattoo at age 11. Yeah, so now it's like these I don't want to give too much away, but they had to form a team, and so now he's at school, and he's a former Mighty Duck, and now he's trying to look at kids who are also underdogs that like, hey, I could bring these kids together and form a hockey team, and that's pretty much the first episode. But I love the dynamic. I love the cast, and I think the cast always has to be there in order for it to be a good show. And I don't know, I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna yeah, I don't know, I'm pretty pumped. I'm really stuck on this Cobra Kai thing though.
Like
Just ruin the
imagining
show
like
for him.
Kreese driving in on a motorcycle, blasting lizards or something in the ice rink.
Yeah, so
I'm
watch it.
gonna watch the show. There was just too much to watch this last Friday. Like I'm still trying to catch up.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at pictures of the Mighty Ducks cartoon. Like is this on Disney Plus? Like
I
this is
feel like
all
you're
I care
probably
about
gonna
now.
watch that before the live action show.
100%. I have to watch them in order.
Got to get the story.
Are they space ducks?
Yeah.
Because they look like space ducks.
Yes. They're aliens.
There was a fucking toy line?
Yeah, this is like Gargoyles era, I think.
What the fuck? I watched Gargoyles though.
Yeah, the better show.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah. Take the spotlight.
I heard, it may have been the same time when the Looney Tunes got transformed into like Extreme Looney Tunes or whatever.
Oh no, that was way into the 2000s. That was not as long ago as you think it would be.
21 years
But even
ago.
in 2000, that's still 21
There you
years
go.
ago.
There's an extreme Mighty Duck for you. That is not
Yeah, where the
pornography.
duck-
I know it sounds like I sent you pornography. I did not. I
don't.
promise.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Holy shit, man! Like this is my entire night now, guys. Thanks.
What else have you guys been
They
watching?
were on the Disney
Matt?
afternoon ad.
Yeah.
I watched
yeah.
every other show.
It was a Saturday morning cartoon.
Did this show like
Must have been the
molest
first
me?
one.
Is that why I forgot it? Because it's literally on a poster I'm looking at right now with like gummy bears and Tailspin, DuckTales, Gargoyles.
Gummy bears.
There was a lot of duck shows back then, for sure.
Yeah,
Ducks
the
are
whole
hot. Ducks
Duck
are hot.
universe.
Duck, yeah.
Ducks are making a comeback.
What the fuck? You've destroyed my entire I'm trying to figure out what else I've lost of the year 1996 now.
Duck.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, see,
I
we were
didn't mean
like
to derail everything.
9,
This is so messed up.
9, and 10. So that makes sense why you wouldn't have seen it, Hannah.
But I watched the rest. I was a complete immature baby child. That's the part that gets me is like any other thing I'd be like, oh yeah, I was too old for it. But I'm like, I watched every other show around it. I
binge
must
it.
have
How
made
many-
that means I made a conscious effort in 1996 to not watch this show.
Or
I
I bet
stand
you,
by it.
you saw it and you're just like, well, I mean, that's obviously not Mighty Ducks. It can't be.
Yeah, maybe I just had room in my heart for the human Mighty Ducks, and I didn't want these ducks coming and stealing their jobs.
I only watched Biker Mice from Mars.
I totally remember that. I remember that show. I remember Street Sharks.
Everyone remembers Street Sharks. Coming back to
Mhm.
let's talk about that real quick then.
Okay.
The Suicide Squad and
Oh,
everyone's
man.
new baby man shark child.
I'm
It's
just
very like Harley Quinn cartoon. Like if they just put that over to this movie, this reminds me of it.
it looks really good. I as cool as it is, they got Sylvester Stallone to do the voice of King Shark.
And
I feel like they missed something by having Ron Funches do it. Like that guy's voice is pure joy, and he is why King Shark is so good in the Harley Quinn cartoon. Like there's something about the idea of like the most terrifying member of the team also having a voice of somebody who you just want to get a hug from.
I want a hug from Sylvester Stallone.
We're gonna hug you real
Oh, we're
tight.
gonna do this. What? You guys put our pelvises sideways, though.
If I'm gonna bite this guy in his mouth, I'm gonna bite with my mouth.
Remember when I beat up Russia?
How is it not problematic to make fun of his voice? Because I feel like you can't do it without like really just
without having
nestling
that
up against
stroke.
like some things you shouldn't do.
Yeah, the movie looks cool.
Um,
It's gonna. I mean, obviously, it looks a lot better than the original Suicide Squad, which everyone now wants the Ayer cut because we got the
just
Snyder
don't give a
cut,
shit
but
about it.
it's not gonna happen. I think he really is the one that only gives a shit himself. Because
Well, and I think the difference too is that like the Snyder cut was probably, I know they spent a lot of money on it, but it was like perfect time, perfect place. They already had most of the footage already shot. And from what it sounds like, a lot of it was already kind of like effects were starting to be done for it. But they don't need the Ayer cut. They needed the Snyder cut. They don't need the Ayer cut.
but everyone is going to die in this, and I'm already upset.
I just
You
like
think
the
so?
fact that it. Oh, dude, I think
Yeah.
so in that trailer, there's two distinct teams. There's two full different teams with only I think Flag and Harley is the two like holdovers. So one of
Mhm.
those teams is dead for sure.
Yeah, and there's like so much more, and just like the group walking out at the beginning, like there's just so many people they didn't even like officially announce in the trailer.
Well, yeah, like there's in one of the walking splash screen scenes,
Mhm.
there's the javelin, but he's not anywhere in the trailer, and
Mhm.
Harley has a javelin in her hand for part of it.
Mm.
So I don't think he's long for the world.
Starro was in it, which was okay.
What the fuck, dude? Like that.
Just your face alone.
I was already great with that movie. That looked so good. I was 100% bought into that movie, and then just when Steve Ag turns around and says like we've got a fucking kaiju, and then it could have been anything else, and I would have been like, oh, that's cool, but it's Starro. Like Jesus, I love when comic book movies aren't afraid of their origins. Like
Yeah.
it's a giant starfish. That's great.
Is mayonnaise an instrument?
Oh man, so good.
So we saw that. I also watched finished Solar Opposite season 2 this last week, which was it's good. It's Rick and Morty is now so far in between that I think this might be a better Rick and Morty. It's less angry.
It's less angry. Like you can tell watching it. I think a lot of the anger in Rick and Morty is coming from the Dan Harmon side of the equation, which I'm down for. I like it.
Yeah, it's
But
just
also, I didn't watch the entire first season of this until like maybe 6 months ago because I thought it was going to be like a watered down Rick and Morty. I didn't realize that Rick and Morty is a watered down version of this.
But what's it
Like-
about? Because I've seen ads about it, and I think I started the first episode, and I don't know why I stopped and I just didn't watch it. So
It's-
I couldn't get into it.
so there was a planet that was a perfect utopia, but then it exploded, and these aliens and their clone babies go to Earth to try
with
to
the pupa, they have their
with the pupa to terraform it because that's what the pupa does. But then they start getting like just more in, well, most of them get more into like just the living on Earth and just living amongst humans. Like maybe
Yeah, it
we
turns
don't
out
need
they
to
like it.
Yeah, they like it. They don't need to terraform it. Also, they have no idea what the hell they're doing.
But also, the show is so much filthier than Rick and Morty, which that doesn't surprise me either because Justin Roiland, if you follow him on any social media or anything prior to Rick and Morty, that dude is a filth monster, and that's why I've always been a fan of his.
Or just look up Doc and Marty.
Yeah, well, like I remember back in like the Channel 101 days, like you could like whenever he put something up, it was just over the top. And then they did Acceptable TV with like him and Dan Harmon and a bunch of other like really great improvisers, and that show was phenomenal, but it was also like really pushing the envelope. And then Rick and Morty, as much as it like pushes the envelope, it still dials back to try to be a normal show. And Solar Opposites gives no shits. Like they're not telling a serialized story in this show as so much as they're like, what can we do that is just beyond fucked up? And the serialized story they're telling is a background story that is awesome that I would watch if it was his own show.
I think that's the general opinion too. Like that's Stacey's number one thing. She's like kind of out of it for most of it. And then she's like, oh, this episode's about the wall. And
yeah,
she,
anytime they go to the wall, I'm just like, I go from going like, this is funny to like, okay, I truly give a shit about this society.
Yeah, I need
what
another
happens.
story about the wall. So there's these the two younger aliens, the boy alien
Yumulak?
Yumulak, yeah, for whatever reason, just like randomly would just shrink humans and then grab them and put them in this like
terrarium
farm,
kind of thing, yeah,
inside of his closet, and they just kind of he just leaves them there. Basically, he doesn't give a shit. And then the story goes to the lives of the people within this wall, and like what they're dealing with, like how, what are you gonna do if someone shrunk you, put you inside this terrarium? How are you gonna survive? So they're there's a Lord of the Flies type thing where it's just like this anarchy is going on, but there's like a guy that's trying to rule everything, and
like a whole society happens.
Yeah, and life is hard because you only have like candy that the kids sometimes throw in.
Yeah, it's it's so good.
And yeah, like the first season ends on this like pretty big note, and so it picks up from there later, and it just gets it's just this whole thing that's just really insane. And I wish that
another show.
Yeah, this sounds great. You should watch it, dude. I think you'd really.
It's like
enjoy
8 episodes, 20 minutes per episode.
Oh yeah, you'll blast through a season in like an evening.
There's two seasons out right now. Are they just out, like all of it? Is it
they're just out because the second season dropped on Hulu on Friday, and they just drop all the episodes at once.
That's where I just saw like the big ad. When you start Hulu, just like Solar Opposites.
But yeah, it's honestly a good show, and the difference between that and Rick and Morty is I'm not embarrassed to say I'm a Solar Opposites fan.
We'll get there. We'll get there down the road.
To be honest, I still have yet to watch the full season last season.
Oh, it's really good. It's really good. It's just
I really like Rick and Morty. I just don't like saying it out loud because you get identified as a Rick and Morty fan.
Well, I think
it just fell through the cracks somehow with me.
I want to say we got 2 seasons of this. 2 seasons of this in between a season of Rick and Morty.
Yeah, because this last season just came out last year, I think, around this time.
Yeah,
but it's a good show. It's a fun show. It's stupid. The voice acting's awesome. You got
the voice acting is
Justin
so
Roiland
good.
back, who's the voice of Morty and Rick. He is one of the main aliens. Thomas Middleditch is the second adult alien. The kid from the Goldbergs, I can't remember the actor's name. He's the Yumulak. And then I can't remember who plays.
Definitely not Kristen Schaal.
Definitely not Kristen Schaal.
Half the time I'm like, is that Kristen Schaal?
Yeah.
Tiffany Haddish is the voice of their ship.
Christina Hendricks is Sherry.
Yeah. But yeah, and plus the whole way the wall works gives them the opportunity to bring in crazy guest stars that have no business. They have no business getting in that show.
On this season, they hit out in a toy replica of an alien or a predator ship or vehicle.
Oh god, yeah. What was it? The Alien versus Predator Requiem specifically? They had to keep calling out which show. Yeah,
it's good show. Check it out.
It's just it's really good.
Right now, Alex, put it on stream.
Okay.
See, God, I'm sorry. I keep going back to the stupid Mighty Ducks cartoon. Like, I'm not joking when I say this is my night.
That's only 26 episodes too. I just saw.
What is
one season? Yeah,
of that one. Cartoon. Okay, well I feel better then that it was a 1 season. Like that's not even a full cartoon season back then.
They came from Puck World.
Okay, maybe I did just tune it all out.
Yeah, that was pretty easy. 26. Yeah.
Because that's like near the heyday when like a season of a cartoon was 65 episodes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, easily. I remember rewatching the X-Men series, and it was like that. I was like, wow.
Yeah, you're like, oh, it's only 2 seasons. Then you realize each season is like forever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're just I'm watching Simpsons on and off right now, and the same thing. Like season 7 was like 20 something episodes.
See, I watched that. You watched that. I'm trying to think of what. I started to watch Godzilla vs Kong this morning, but I need to I need to really sit down and watch that. So I'm gonna do that tonight. But
I didn't
did
realize
you guys
today's
see
the day it's out.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like the 31st of March.
No, it definitely doesn't. But did
No,
you
I mean,
guys also see that the director, what his next movie is going to be?
Oh, I did. What was it? I forget.
Thundercats.
Oh no, I didn't. See that,
Wait,
actually.
I did see that. Yes, it was announced yesterday or something. Pretty recent.
I don't like the fact that I live in a world where there's a dude like gung ho making a Thundercats movie, and I still can't get a goddamn Masters of the Universe movie.
You did.
Yeah, well, we deserve a second one.
Let's get Thundercats first. Then we'll circle back.
We've spent 2 decades apologizing to Courtney Cox. Now it's time to apologize to all the fans.
Hey, Frank Langella kind of was awesome.
He was not the problem in that movie.
Yeah.
See.
There we go. I'll put the Mighty Ducks in my background.
There you go.
Now Hannah has to pay attention.
I'm paying attention to all.
And the thing with that is that they're half human, half duck.
Are they half human or are they just an
Ew.
alien?
That's like some Howard the Duck stuff I don't want to get into.
I know what we're reviewing next.
I don't know. According to Wikipedia, they're half human, half duck, and where hockey is more than just a sport.
They're demons
It's
or
a way
ducks.
of life.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much.
It's Canada. It takes place in Canada.
So the only game I've really been playing, I started it today. I started playing Disco Elysium, and that game got real big last year. I know it won a ton of like Game of the Year awards, but I had purposely avoided what it was about because enough people that I trust the opinion of said it was good that I planned on playing it at some point. I think I got through almost the first 2 hours of the game today, and I have not played a game that grabbed me that quickly in so long.
Yep.
Like just the style of the game is so interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I get this fucking microphone.
Playing it right now?
Huh?
Magoo, you've done it again.
No, I guess new thing in the special edition that just came out that I picked it up on PlayStation. It also works great on a console, which you wouldn't think because it's a CRPG, like those real old school Baldur's Gate style overhead view ones. Works great on a console. But it added in more narration, and it's really cool. It is as close I have gotten to feeling like I was playing a game being directed by a dungeon master in a very long time.
Yeah, remind me of those when they made those Shadowrun games.
Yeah. But
called?
it's Disco Elysium.
Okay.
But it's just cool because like in the beginning, like before you even see any footage of the game, it's just you're getting talked to by what would be a DM, but it's different aspects of your personality trying to get you to get your shit together and wake up. And it's great.
The ratings are amazing.
Yeah,
it's so good.
It's swept through a lot of things this last year, end of last year.
And it's like legitimately funny so far, and I've heard it goes places that are pretty intense, but like in the first hour of the game, I laughed out loud multiple times, which it's one thing to chuckle at something or chuckle at a game, but like when it actually has a sense of humor that makes you legitimately laugh as though you were watching a comedy, that's a big deal.
Oh man, this is
give it a guffaw, a chortle.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, it was so good. Like I'm very excited to go back and keep playing it.
Where do you play it at? Is it?
I'm playing it on PlayStation, but I know it's out on a handful of things right now.
It's on
I see.
Steam
Okay.
and
Maybe
even be on the Switch. I don't know.
It's on the Switch as well. Man, this
is shit. It's on the Switch. Man, I would have just bought that version. I'm buying it twice.
I knew it. I knew it.
They need to do more cross saves.
Cross saves. Oh man.
Yeah, because like Hades, like that's incredible. Like I am so happy that I can play Hades on my Switch and have the same save I have on my PC.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I didn't know that.
Because like, time for bed, gotta wind down, but maybe play something on the Switch before I go to bed.
Gotta wind down and play games.
Yeah. Drink my wine.
There you go.
From a box.
I did start playing Control. I'm only like an hour in, so I'm not too far. It's a lot of story in the beginning. So the gameplay is like 20 minutes, but it's cool. It's the effects, the sounds, the constant, just like it's light, and then you go into the dark, and then you hear the sound.
You got to make sure you go into every room and look for TVs because that shit's the best.
And I forgot, like, because I was like, how did you only play it for an hour? But I forgot, like, that when I first started playing that game, I think it took like a solid 2 hours before I realized how special it was. Like the first hour, it was just like, oh, this is a serviceable shooter mystery game. It had like weird JRPG almost pacing where it's like, have fun shooting or walking. Now here's 10 minutes of talking. But then when it kicks off, oh my God.
Yeah, I also continue playing it. I just only have limited time. So I play, an hour or so. So I just started. So I'll give you guys updates as I play, I'm sure.
I forgot one of the things in Disco Elysium that is hilarious is that my character, because he's I think it's because his intellect is so low, he doesn't know his name. And so like you're a cop, you deduce that in the beginning as you start, like you wake up naked and drunk and you're trying to figure out what's going on. And one of my favorite parts I've had so far is I get to my partner's patrol car and I'm trying to trick the dispatch person into telling me what my name is, and all the other cops are in the background making fun of me and talking shit and comparing me to like an actual good detective.
Look at no name.
Yeah, I mean they destroy me. Like I'm actually going to restart the game and figure out what I need to do to not be the butt of everyone's jokes, because like 2 hours in, I'm just like, this like a little kid just destroyed me emotionally earlier. Like basically started screaming that I was a pedophile and yeah. It got really bad. Like I tried to get up close, start whispering to him, and the kid starts screaming to everybody to help him. Then you're like, no, don't make a scene. And then there's dice rolls. And so I like kept failing those checks. So
wait, you are you playing? Is it like kind of like D&D where you like throwing
it feels like D&D. Like
you're not actually throwing dice. So like there's a, you press something, right? And it tells you the numbers.
You'll have an option. And it'll be like, do you want to attempt this? You don't have to, but it'll be like, hey, if you want to attempt this roll, you have a very high or very low chance of getting it. Well, and then you do a digital dice roll and it'll just be like, okay. So here's a great example. The guy at the hotel, the manager of the hotel you're staying at, when you're walking away, he's like, well, you owe me $100. You got to have it by tonight. And so I had the option to try to sneak off. And I was like, I'm going to sneak off, but I'm not good at it. And so when I did a roll, I actually did a critical failure. And it went into a cinematic where my guy starts running, turns around and just jumps in the air and does this in slow motion. And then the game stops and narrates what's going on. And it's like, and then your guy, you have like selections you can make where you're talking to yourself. And one of them is like, there's a lady behind me, isn't there? And you like slam into a lady in a wheelchair, hit the ground. Just super embarrassing. You take focus damage, which is one of the types of health in the game.
I gotta play this game.
I highly recommend it. It's very, very fun.
Reminds me, I also
pretty inexpensive. I want to say it was like $20, maybe 25. Cool.
I recently played and finished Katana Zero. That was a really cool game. I didn't expect to like it as much as I did. I thought it's almost on the same way that you're talking about Disco Elysium was like, I thought it was going to be a lot less, or I guess what you're talking about with Control, I thought it was going to be a lot less than what it was. And then once I finally got into it, like it was a really crazy story and really cool just game to play.
Oh, it's available. Okay, I'm just going to buy it on my Mac. That's what I'm going to buy it on my Mac. It's also on there. So there you go. I'm going to play this game the way it was meant to be played, with a mouse and a keyboard. Be real cool if PlayStation can give me a refund for that. Real cool, Sony.
And you played it too, right, Hannah?
Played which one? Oh, the Katana? Yeah. Sorry. Yes, Katana Zero. Yes. Very, very good game. Really fun game.
Have you guys watched the new My Hero Academia episode?
No.
It just started,
I'm like 25 episodes into the series overall. Like I'm not going to get there for another 7 or 8 years. It's there's a lot of episodes and it's very intimidating. Every time I'm like, I'm gonna watch it, then I'll watch like 4 episodes. And I'm like, there's still so many.
Small dent.
It's the same reason I can never watch week by week. I can never watch Supernatural. I'm just like, there's like 38 seasons. I can't do it.
Yeah, probably I don't know. Till at least the dubs start coming out, because I'm one of the filthy dub people.
I watch subtitles no matter what, so it doesn't bother me. But I've been binge watching Naruto, and I found out that there's like 5,000 episodes, and I'm only on season 6, and I feel like
going on since we were like in high school.
I know. I've been binging since like this month, and it's like, oh man, I'm gonna just binge all the seasons, and they're like, yeah, that's like the first set of seasons, and then you get into like there's 2 other ones. which each have their own like 500 episodes plus movies. And I watched like the first. I'm on season 6, episode 16, and I watched one movie. And then after this season is another movie. Then finish it. There's another movie, and then I get into the
So
other
many.
set. Yeah,
Yeah, because there's Naruto, there's Shippuden.
Pudding,
I thought it said shit put in, and that's what I
the shit put in next.
have
Yeah,
to stop myself from always saying
that's-
shit pudding.
That's
Then
the
burrito.
that's a thousand years of pain.
Same way when I saw Dragon Ball Budokai, Budokai, I kept reading it as Bukake.
We've already seen those pop up on your
Anime is a
laptop.
real word, guys. Yeah, dude, Naruto and My Hero Academia are just so intimidating to look at how many episodes there are.
My
My
hair
hair's not
not
that
so
bad.
much.
I mean,
yeah,
it's only a
compared
few.
No, My Hero, I just feel like if I don't like, I'm at least plucking away at it because I don't want it to get to the Naruto point.
I think it's 25 a season.
The Naruto point's
So
what we officially call when something goes too far.
No, that's going to be One Piece.
Oh no, I
Godzilla's hit
can't.
that
I
One
can't
Piece
go.
point.
One Piece is even more.
Hmm.
Isn't it like as many or more episodes of like than there are of like Dragon Ball and its offshoots for One Piece?
I think it's more.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because Dragon
insane
Ball
amount.
stopped for a while.
Yeah,
One
For
Piece is
like a
gone, has
decade.
been going.
Dragon Ball put us out of our misery for a moment. Ow.
and there's a movie coming out too with My Hero. And next month actually. Pretty cool
I'm just-
storyline. But
it's
what
so
I'm
much.
reading, the first episode of the new season is just a recap of the powers. So you could like miss it and like
Mm.
doesn't change anything with the storyline.
You remind me when you said movie, I'm checking to see if there's a American release date yet for the new Neon Genesis movie. Because it finally came out in Japan. So that means it will at some point in the near future hopefully come out here.
2 years.
Maybe it'd be nice.
Oh no, I've been age restricted.
I got nothing. Okay.
What else?
All
I
right,
think
Chewie, get
besides
us out of here.
that-
Couldn't figure out why you were saying that.
Wait, let's go this way.
Like, what the hell are you doing?
That did make it better for me. I appreciate that. He's just so animated back there.
Oh, I
Alex,
figured.
interact with your background. Go. Grab
Yeah,
Mark's
tickle him.
hand.
Tickle him.
Oh, he's
Not
behind
there.
here. Where's my there? Oh, what a see this is why we can't have green screens, because this is the dumb shit we do all day. Just Alex just dropping elbows.
Don't put stunner. That's it
Um,
for my movies and games.
Yeah, that's everything
I'm
I've
ready
done
to-
since we talked. My
Ready to
life
talk
was
about
just
the big two.
my life was just full of nothing but Snyder cuts and Disco Elysium as of this morning. All right, so let's go ahead and both are really good, but I feel like we might all be more excited to talk about Invincible. So why don't we start with this Falcon and Winter Soldier? Even though, again, really good show, really good
Yeah.
show.
Why do you hate it so much, Anna?
I don't. I love it. It's really
I don't
good.
understand. It's a good show.
We're a third way into it already. I think there's
Yeah.
only 6 episodes.
Yeah, 6 episodes, but each one's like almost an actual hour long. Like they're like 45 minutes.
Yeah, they're surprisingly long. I wish WandaVision was the same length for most of theirs.
Yeah,
But we're
like
getting-
after watching this, I'd be like, I could handle 2 or 3 fewer episodes of WandaVision if each episode was a little bit longer, or
Oh,
at least past those first couple of like sitcom episodes.
yeah. We're getting the young Avengers, right? I mean, they're just setting it up
Yeah,
perfectly.
If we don't, they fucked up. They fucked up
Yeah.
real bad.
They're introducing a lot though within these episodes. I mean, not only just the future, like the Patriot going on Young Avengers, but a lot of the stuff that was in the past. And we get Isaiah Bradley, who was the first Captain America,
Well,
which
he was the second.
is he the
Yeah,
second
they
or the
retconned
first?
it. They retconned it in this show. In the
Okay,
in the
Yeah,
comics,
because he was during Nam.
so
Okay.
it's a big deal to
But
me
still.
that they're bringing that character in there, because like
Still,
I
yeah.
loved that that miniseries, and I like how they've like retconned the Isaiah Bradley version of Captain America into the actual comic books, where like basically like all the black heroes know who he is, and like all have like a real level of respect for him because they understand kind of what he went through. And Luke Cage, especially Luke Cage, is like he's referred to him as like the guy who went through an early version of his process. But yeah, I was really surprised because like I was hoping it would be more than what it looked like it was going to be, but on paper it just looked like the Falcon and the Winter Soldier was just going to be a like Captain America without Captain America until one of them decides to become Captain America.
Like a buddy cop type of
yeah
show.
But instead it's really not that. It's like a real look at like disenfranchisement of veterans, what it means to be black in America today, what it meant to be black in America in the 1950s. Like they're in a really weird way not hiding from things that I was positive they would hide from. Like Marvel hasn't had like a full on like gay character. Like one of the directors of Endgame had to be the one who was like, I'm the first on-screen gay person that's ever appeared in a Marvel movie. But like in this, they're just straight up like, no, Falcon and Winter Soldier gets stopped by cops, and guess who the cops immediately side with?
Yeah, that whole interaction was very intense. And we could see as the audience, like, dude, what the hell? Like, why are you just asking him? Like I was getting upset watching it, and that's the thing that really draws me in with Marvel. What I'm liking, what Disney is doing, or Marvel is doing, is you could look at WandaVision, and you could, at least from my perspective, you could see that it's a lot about mental health. It's a lot about grieving. It's a lot about how we handle things when a great loss is happening multiple times. I mean, that show focused on death of her parents, her brother, the only one that she loved. How do you rectify that? You have a lot of power and people want it. How do you rectify that? There's a lot of things, and she has kids, and that's taken away. And there's a lot of with mental health that's revolved around that show. And then you look at the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and they don't hide away from another serious topic, which is race, which is a lot of these current events that are in our headlines every single day, especially now. And they're not hiding from it whatsoever, even in a superhero show where we kind of use it as an escape for a long time. Oh man, Batman's beating up criminals, or Superman saving the day, or so on and so forth. But now it's those worlds are bleeding into each other, and this is what we're now getting.
Do you bleed?
Well, and like it's also cool. They're like, I like the fact they're bringing up what is it like to have been non-existent for 5 years, then come back into the world and have to like build that world. And it's crazy how much it seems to line up with also just being black in America, where it's like, oh no, you just never got to exist. Or even like the John Walker Captain America, they present him and they're like, oh, you guys all need to hate him. What has he done to make us hate him? Truthfully, like really, what has he done? Like nothing. He seems like a really good guy. You see the whole press piece on him when he goes on his Good Morning America run.
Even his history record,
saves the heroes.
Record.
Yeah, his military record is exemplary. He saves the heroes of the show. Like in his first action scene, he knows how to use the shield. On paper, everything about him says he's good. He even is like, hey, work with me. Like, why don't you guys work with me? And Falcon and Winter Soldier dicks to him. But like, you still are just like, I don't trust you. And I think it's because they get into like the whitewashing of history, and they get into like the idea of somebody else taking credit for the work of somebody. And it's just really interesting to me how they're just not shying away from every place where they could punt and be like, well, that issue doesn't exist in Marvel. It absolutely exists there.
I think
can't even get alone.
I think there is a little reason to not like him from what they have shown, though. And mainly it is when he was talking to Falcon in the back of that truck, and it's just like, make my life a lot more easier if I had Captain America's sidekick with me. And
that's the difference is what you're seeing is it's the version of somebody who wants this job versus Steve, who it was his calling.
Right, but it was like addicting to say, like, he's more than just the sidekick, and what do I care about you becoming Captain America, and why should I help you become Captain America when you didn't know him at all?
Well, and even just the subtle, it has not been said yet, but there's that subtle jab of like, why is the new Captain America's like sidekick he currently has a black dude wearing a variation on Bucky's uniform? Like that seems interesting. Like they were like, it's like, it feels like the focus tested version of Captain America. It's the one they said, okay, well, what makes him good? Well, he can have the black sidekick, but he can't be black himself because we need America to buy. We need, Joe the plumber to buy into this. And so it's just really interesting that they're just going there with it. What's that dude's name? Like I keep wanting to see Battlestar.
It's Battlestar. Yeah.
Is it okay?
He's also in the same ilk as John Walker, where they were both turned into super soldiers at the same time. With spoiler for potentially the future of the show, but yeah, both John Walker and Battlestar become super soldiers under what's the mob boss's name? Whatever the
power broker.
Power broker.
Yeah, even that, the fact that they bring up the power broker, and like that's such a deep cut. That's such a crazy Marvel Comics deep cut, and then you realize like, oh, you're really going to get into what he is.
And I think also this, Alex was talking about the mental health stuff that WandaVision goes over. I think this show also does do a smaller portion of that, especially when it comes to Bucky.
Well, yeah, just like the full on PTSD.
Yeah, that and just it's almost like the men of his time weren't allowed to talk about emotions and feeling and mental well-being, stuff like that. And I feel like he's kind of showing that because he doesn't want to talk about it at all. And that's I feel like people are more open to that nowadays, but especially for a dude from the 40s, like it wasn't okay to not be feeling mentally well and stuff like that. So I think that's why it's been hard for him to open up to the therapist. And that's why it was kind of like a big moment for me when he finally tells Falcon, like, Steve said that you are the next one. You should be the Captain America. And if he's wrong, then that means that he was wrong about me.
Yeah, that was a huge line.
Yeah, like that. Oh, that hit hard when he said that. I was just like, oh, buddy, no. Yeah, really good show. 2 episodes are out so far, 4 more to go. Absolutely worth watching. I think the big thing is that because WandaVision was so like, it was so, and I mean this as somebody who loves the show. It was so up its own ass with like, what's happening, that it let us all get crazy about what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
And this show, it's pretty upfront. It's like, oh, here's what's happening. Like they are doing this is happening. There's a mystery going on, but like, it's not this crazy thing of like, what metaphysical entity is doing this? You're like, no, it's governments. Like governments are doing this.
WandaVision has the mystery as the centerpiece, where this one has it more as like just on the outside.
Yeah. And this is doing what I hoped it would do, but never really thought it would, which is it feels like a long form series version of the Winter Soldier, where this feels like a military noir that also happens to have all these other aspects to it too. That's really just a really good show.
I don't understand why you don't like it.
Here's the only thing I don't like about it. Wyatt, God, what's the dude's name? The guy who plays John Walker. I'm looking at it right now.
Wyatt Russell.
John Wyatt. No, Wyatt Russell.
Yeah.
John Walker is the guy I just put together. Wyatt Russell is a good-looking dude. He is an actor that if you see his face, you're like, oh yeah, I know that guy. He's been in a movie I've watched. Why in the first goddamn scene you see him in the Captain America suit where you're supposed to be like, the hell's that man doing wearing my man's clothes? Why does he look like the old man from Up?
I feel like it's got to be on purpose.
It does. No, it has to be. It has to be.
We have to have this reaction to my stepdad. I'm not gonna call Steve dad, mom. He's not my real dad.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like looking at him, like looking at your stepdad from down, going like, he wants me to go play catch, but I don't like him.
He keeps doing loud sex to my mom.
Get out of here, Keith.
So that's my theory though, like, because I agree. I had the same reaction when he popped up. He just looks so goofy with the helmet on, at least, and there's no way someone in this billion-dollar company working a wardrobe didn't see that.
Well, and it was a screenshot that they released. Like that wasn't even just like, oh, we happened to all pause it on like a bad frame.
Yeah,
like that's how they showed him,
which
is a bummer too, because I think his costume's really goddamn good looking.
Yeah, costume's really
cool costume.
Also, Wyatt Russell should only have long hair ever, though.
Yeah, he looks. What's really funny is the scene the second episode starts on, where it's him in the locker room. I thought that took place in the 60s. I was like, or the 60s or 70s. And I was like, is he like a Vietnam era soldier that's been chilling for the last like 40 or 50 years? No, he just is a hippie with sideburns in the military.
Even in like, I don't remember what he looked like in Overlord. I imagine he had long hair, didn't he? If you
I
ever
think
seen
he had
Overlord, go
longer
watch
hair. He had
Overlord.
scruffier hair at the very least. Yeah, it's a
We're all
good
just
costume though.
Googling that right now.
I'm just staring at that fucking
Yeah, I mean
Captain
it's
America costume. It was real good.
longer. It's not super long, but
Yeah, I think it's just
Anyway.
scruffier.
Kurt Russell's son deserves better. Goldie Hawn's son deserves better.
I literally did not realize that's who it was until you said it right now.
My dad's a planet.
Yeah,
Now
and
I'm
when you
Captain
look
America.
at, you mean the guy who literally looks like if you mash those two celebrities together and has
Yeah.
the same last name as one is related to them? Wild.
My parents are Christmas.
But yeah, so far, like really digging that show. Like really looking forward to the next episodes.
Yeah, I think the super soldier stuff in general is one of my favorite things at Marvel. Because even back to the 90s Spider-Man cartoon, one of my favorite multi-episodes was when they're dealing with that, with these failed super soldiers that were also superheroes, but they're limited in their power.
Well,
And
even
Black,
go ahead.
Black Cat stuff, finding out that her dad, I think, stole the super serum, gave it to her. And then like Captain America was part of the show for a little bit, which was really cool.
Well, if you look at forgot where I was going. Oh, there we go. The whole idea of the super soldier serum, like that's such a good, easy way to just be like, that's how they're superpowered. It's a variation. Somebody tried to recreate it. It's cool. But even like the Incredible Hulk movie that we always forget is part of the actual MCU. Like that's literally how the villain gets his powers. Is Thunderbolt Ross injects him with the Captain America, like whatever they've got that they think is the Captain America super soldier serum. And so like you forget until you start messing with it. And even the power broker, it's like, yeah, it makes sense. That's what he's basically doing is without the genius of Erksan, he's trying to use this same type of serum.
And then all these kids got it.
So
people.
I do want to make one crazy prediction though, because I feel like you always have to have your Mephisto prediction now for these shows.
It's Mephisto.
I think it's Mephisto. No, I think it's Arnim Zola. I think we're going to see him at some point. I think we're going to see Arnim Zola. And I think we're going to see Old Man Steve. I think we will get a scene of Old Man Steve talking to Isaiah Bradley.
Okay.
I think, yeah, I really, it
That'd
just seems interesting to me.
I would love that
like,
dialogue.
Well, because in the comics, like Steve Rogers was furious when he found out about the whole Isaiah Bradley situation. Like he was so mad that it was kept from him. And I feel like you're losing out on that here. And especially like since we just got a version of him who got to live out his life and get what he wanted. And that's juxtaposed with this old black man who literally tried to pick up the baton from Captain America and was put in jail for 30 years for doing it. So, I mean, that's a big deal. And that's something I would like to see. I'd like to see, you know, the quote unquote ally have to rectify with like, my legacy is very tarnished now because of this.
I want to know where Steve is.
Well, that's the only reason I really think Steve will show up too, is the fact they didn't just give you a definitive like he's dead or he's here. The fact that it's a mystery where Steve is, I'm like, okay,
right?
you did that on purpose. That means that matters. All right, Alex, do you have any other thoughts on Falcon and Winter Soldier?
No, Thursday we're gonna be at the midway point, which is wild to me. But I would say though, on top of everything, the just the effects, the very action show movie, big helicopter fight scene. You get the Captain America parade. It's just been fun. It does make it go by pretty fast, and I don't know. I definitely see the quality in it as well. They definitely don't skimp on anything.
I'm wondering. I don't know if you know Ed Hannah, if they're doing the same technique as Mandalorian with the giant screens.
Apparently not. Like I guess they're doing a lot of the stuff. It's either full CG or they're just filming it like normal shows.
Because it is movie quality, and
yeah,
which is insane. Because Mandalorian also is, but I usually give it credit to the technique that they're doing with the big screens.
Well,
if they're not using that this is costing a lot.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised to see that start showing up in other things, but I mean that's why there were leaks about the Marvel shows, and there's never been a leak about the Mandalorian because they filmed that in a magic dome versus like we knew that Kate Bishop was in the Hawkeye show because 10 seconds into filming, they're like, well, there's Jeremy Renner, there's Haley Stanfield. She's got a both. That's who she is.
And then I don't know if we mentioned, but Isaiah's grandson is also one of the new Avengers, right?
Yeah,
Or the Young
Patriot.
Yeah.
Avengers.
Eli, yeah. So yeah, so now like just as of right now, with what we know exists, we have Speed and Wiccan from
WandaVision.
WandaVision. You've got Patriot in this one. That's Eli. Kate Bishop is in the Hawkeye show, and she plays Hawkeye, or she's not plays. She is Hawkeye for the Young Avengers.
I
Who
think
else
someone
is on
was
that fucking
casted
team?
from Doctor Strange. I can't remember who though.
I want to say I know they cast somebody to play America Chavez in one of the shows.
Yeah, I think that was it.
Or one of the shows or movies. And then you also have, I mean, she's not technically one of the Young Avengers for the initial team, but she'll clearly be there. The fact that Ms. Marvel's a big deal right now, they're going forward with that series. They recast Ant-Man's daughter, and she becomes Stature for the Young Avengers. Like the only person we haven't seen yet is Hulkling, who is a half Skrull, which it wouldn't shock me at all to just have him show up in Secret Invasion.
Yeah.
And then also like spoilers for the comic book Young Avengers. There is a character named Iron Lad, and that is one of the many versions of King the Conqueror, who is being played by the lead of Lovecraft Country in the new Ant-Man movie as well. So we now have Kang in there too, which means Iron Lad's absolutely on the table.
It's happening.
They
Can't wait
they
till
set
I'm
up those
like
dominoes so well.
in my
Dude,
60s,
just like without
watching
even noticing it.
Yeah.
to be in my 60s watching Infinity War 2.
Yeah. The most Infinite Wars.
I was there when Steve took up the hammer.
Well, especially the way they're so good at digitally de-aging people now. That's why I also am like, dude, they can.
Are they?
Well, I mean, compared to where they were, and they can
Yeah.
keep going, but like, that's why now when they're like, well, Tony Stark's dead, he'll never come back. I'm like, really though? Really? Like, come on, it's comic books, dude. Like, Robert
Yeah,
Downey Jr. could say he's coming back for 10 more movies, and we'd all be like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think
Or
I think Vincent Price sold me soap or something, didn't he?
But even like the Chris Evans thing, like he's old right now. What if they said like, oh, we magically de-aged him with a Infinity Stone or a serum or something? Are any of us going to be like, that's bullshit? We're going to be like, oh, cool, we get more Captain America.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's cool that like these are just going to go until the heat death of the universe.
Yeah. Spoilers for Doctor Strange in the multiverse.
Unlike the running time of Zack Snyder's Justice League, you know what?
Bazinga.
Yeah.
Invincible's good.
time?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, yes. So what did you guys
Yeah.
think of Invincible? Which were
I don't
three
understand
episodes
why
in
you
now,
like
right?
this more than Winter Soldier and Falcon.
Fuck, dude,
No,
I
it's,
like it so much more. Like
it's
I
good.
love
It's so fun.
Yeah,
So
so I never finished the comics. Like I read what we read for the podcast last year.
That was like
whenever
our
we did it.
fourth challenge, right?
And
I
I
think that
just
was my.
didn't-
yeah, it was
yeah,
real early on.
I just
Yeah.
didn't keep on going. And then after so they put out the first, so far as recording, we have 3 episodes of Invincible that dropped on the same day. Watched all those, and then I immediately just started reading the comics again because I was like, "Oh fuck, I need to remember what happens next." But the show is really good. Like they really streamlined the beginning because I think the
it's
first
so much
episode
better
alone is
paced.
like 7 issues or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The first episode takes you through like basically the whole challenge that we talked about. Because I remember
Yeah.
that was the one thing we had to keep talking about. Was like,
Well, even
I know
further,
we
I
said
think,
3 hours, but you just got to get to issue 12.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
that's what it was because
Mhm.
I think, yeah, we went a little bit further than the challenge because you wanted me to get to that hook that is at the end of this episode.
Which
first episode.
man, that was so great watching that with my roommate, who she knew that I liked Invincible. She has heard me talk about it, but like I didn't say anything about what the show was about. I was just like, oh yeah, we should watch it. And we watched it, and it's really anime like, which I dug.
Yeah, I love the style of it.
Yeah, and you can tell, like, you can absolutely see where they're putting the money, because like just like anime, when it's like a walk and talk scene, it looks good. It looks good. But when it gets to like an action scene, shit is incredible.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
But we're watching it, and I can see, like, I keep looking out of the corner of my eye, or I'm just like staring at it the whole time, like, it's a good show, right? It's a good show. It's like literally my favorite comic book. And then spoilers for that first episode and for the twist of the show, but like it's literally in the first episode when you find out that Omni-Man is not the good guy, and like he first shows up and that first hit happens where the blood sprays and like a head just like gets destroyed.
Yeah.
Like she just like screamed and put her hands over her mouth, and I was like, oh yeah, this guy wrote Walking Dead also. Like
Yeah, right.
And it was even
Surprise.
more than that too in the show. Like in the comics, it was just like heads popped off and then that's it.
Yeah, in the comics, it was like
Right.
a blur, and that was the mystery. It's like, who killed the Guardians? This one, they're like, yeah, here's who killed the Guardians.
And in this one, yeah, like it is brutal because the first one he kills is Red Rocket or whatever, and it was just
Red
like,
Rush. Yeah,
Red
just
Rush, it just-
squeezes his head.
And not only
I was
that,
like-
like he's like punching him, and his hands are going limp because he's breaking his bones in his own
Yeah.
hands to try to get away.
Also,
They-
like, yeah, the fact that Omni-Man gets actually hurt in this fight is part of the plot, and I think it's better for it.
Yeah,
Yeah, and Robert Kirkman has a thing for an eye being popped out. I swear.
Mm.
Yeah.
But
Second that happened, I was like, oh, Glenn, no.
me too. I was like, no.
It's okay. He's the voice, and they're not gonna
He
tease it
is.
for like a season like Walking Dead did.
Yeah, when that eye got popped, I just wanted to hear Glenn yell Maggie.
Oh,
Maggie.
Well, Maggie died in that scene, so it's okay
Oh,
because
that's
she's a
yeah,
war woman or whatever.
that's right. Yeah,
oh, man.
I'm very happy that it brings like together his like universe, even if it's actors.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And yeah, and the
Uh,
whole cast of the show is phenomenal. Like every single
Yeah.
person is so goddamn good.
they haven't shown the character yet, but I did see who is voicing them. It's minor character, but I'm really excited. It's really stupid. But the principal, guess who's voicing the principal?
If it's not Reginald Bell Johnson,
It
I'm
is
gonna be pissed.
Reginald Bell
Okay,
Johnson.
cool. Yeah, one of my friends, like after he finished watching it, because he didn't know anything about it, and he texted me after. He's like, "That was really good." I was like, "Right?" And he goes, "Why is the school named Reginald Bell Johnson High?" And I'm like, "Oh, because Robert Kirkman really loves 80s sitcoms." And I was like, "Yeah, you should go look at the volumes. Each volume is named after a different sitcom up until
Yeah.
the very end."
Yeah, yeah. Well,
I think-
I remember doing this challenge. It was my second challenge of our podcast, and I remember like Robert Kirkman, Walking Dead. I love reading the comics, and I was like, I've always wanted to just follow up and see what his other projects were, and I keep hearing Invincible, 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 and I think you mentioned it too, Hannah. Like we had a conversation about it. Like, oh, if you like Walking Dead, check out Invincible.
Yeah, and I think it's infinitely better than Walking Dead, and I liked Walking Dead.
Yeah, so much. Like this series is only 144 comics,
no-
like issues. Like it's beginning to end 144.
It's no
But it
super
did-
dinosaur.
Yeah, it is. But it I don't know. Ever since I started like reading it and doing the 12 issues for our challenge, I went and just read. Like I think I spent like 2 weeks just binging, like just reading all the issues. That's how much I fell in love with the series. Like I can't explain it, but I just love it so much. It's not only
Yeah.
the action, but the story. Like they do such a good job of not only just focusing on one character, and usually you have like 4 or 5 in that group, and you may have some other characters sprinkled around there. There's like I could tell you full stories of like 30 different people within 144 issues. It's insane how much like character development happens.
Mhm.
Even the villains, like how many villains
Even
do you
the
know like
villains.
their entire story, and you're like, yeah, I care about that villain, like, or you
Yeah.
hate them, you like hate them with your entire soul because you know so much about them that you're just like, oh my god.
Yeah, and it just the whole series, and no big spoilers, but just the mix of emotions on top of like who's good, who's bad. Sometimes the lines are blurred. It does such a good job of being that kind of compelling story on top of all the action that you see every single issue. Like I can't talk enough about this comic book series, and that's why I'm very excited for the show. I'm excited
Yeah.
for other people to watch it too.
Yeah, and like if I haven't experienced this yet, but I feel like a lot of people are going to get put off because it's animated. But don't like it's incredible. It's violent. All the violence is there. It's actually more violent than the comic, which
Yeah,
is
and apparently
Yeah.
there's still a live action version like being developed. Like this
Yeah,
is not stopping
still.
like a movie
Uh-huh.
series from happening too.
And if you really like The Boys, which is also on Amazon, this is basically the animated version of The Boys, and not only in the sense that it's violent, but in the sense that this is kind of turning what we know of superhero stuff on its head. Potentially a little bit less than The Boys because there's also truly good superheroes in The Boys. I feel like there's not a whole lot of redeeming superheroes in that show, but if that is something that you like, you should definitely check this out.
Well, and again, like I remember talking about The Boys this way, but like The Boys, I feel like The Boys is what, for me, it scratches the itch that Zack Snyder thought he was going to scratch with his DC movies. But like even that's like darker than his stuff by far. I think this, like if you like the Zack Snyder DC stuff, like if you like the idea of like not the grim and gritty, but the what would it be like for a hero in the world? Like Batman would have to use a gun or this would have to happen. Watch this show because like they like spoilers for way down in the series, but there hits a point where there's a character who loses their powers and starts getting some back. And it even gets into like why it's important if you're a Superman type character that you, in addition to your super speed, you have invulnerability, or in addition to your super strength, you have invulnerability, because a character starts developing powers and they are super strong but not invulnerable, and they throw a punch and that punch explodes their arm. And it's that weird shit where you're like, oh yeah, I guess I never thought about that. Or like, what would it be like to have super speed and not super healing, because it turns out you're basically running against friction the whole time. Yeah, it's just it is. I mean, I've said this a billion times, but I mean, hands down, my absolute favorite comic book of all time is Invincible. Like, I love Spider-Man so much. I love Marvel comics. I love DC comics. I've read thousands of comic books in my life. But if I had to pick just one superhero comic to reread over and over and not get any new ones, I'd be more than happy with the entire run of Invincible. I think it is a phenomenal story that has a perfect beginning, middle, and end, which you do not get with superheroes. Like, that's the problem with Batman, Superman, and Spider-Man is no matter what you do, they run a company. Like, you can't have Marvel Comics without Spider-Man. You can't have DC without Batman. So no matter what you do, you know it always has to go back to them, and they always have to reset. When you have a show like Invincible and a series like Invincible, it's just Robert Kirkman controlling it. He does what he wants to. So like, there's just characters that'll die and they'll be dead. And then there'll be characters that come back because he likes them. And it's great. And you get an actual complete story of a hero. It's so good.
And he ended the series on a whim.
Yeah.
Which is insane to me because it was doing really well. He intended to keep going for a very long time. And it was like, you know what? The way I'm writing this story, it's naturally coming to an end.
Was it running concurrent with Walking Dead?
Yeah, for a long time it was.
Yeah.
But even when he hit the end of it, like the last, like he telegraphed it for a good long time, that it was ending. And the last two volumes are called The End of All Things, Volume 1 and 2. And even then he gets to just be like, this is my universe. I'm going to tell the end of all things. And he tells the end of, like, you get a very definitive ending for every hanging plot thread. So like, if he comes back, he could come back tomorrow and do like Invincible Volume 2. But it's going to be whatever story he wants to do. It doesn't have to be just like Mark's back and running around the city.
Well, he ends it at a very like, okay, this is the end, but he leaves so much open where he even said it, other creators could then eventually take over. Like, he eventually wants to retire, do his own thing, and other people could take up the mantle. But he's
a very wealthy man now.
But he leaves it where I'm like, as a huge fan, I'm really satisfied with the ending, and I'm good with it. And there's so many different like characters. I wouldn't mind getting their own or just keep going with it. And I don't know. It's funny having a main character, but I could still list like 4 or 5 other ones that I am super excited to see. Like Alan, the alien. Love the guy. He's such a pinnacle of the comic book series. But there's also villains that I absolutely love that I haven't showed yet, like Battle Beast.
Oh man, Battle Beast, so great.
Love him. Just the character alone. I just can't wait for each episode, and we have to do week by week. I hate it, but I love it at the same time.
Well, this feels like
it by now.
This feels like back when I read the comics, where like I would sit there and have a month between issues where I'm just like, oh god,
you know,
cheeseburgers.
Oh, what's gonna happen to old Mark today?
And the good thing is that you don't have to watch read the comics to know it. I
no,
feel
not
like
at all.
Not at all. And they streamlined it so well, where yeah, a lot of the details are just kind of gathered together and it just pushed forward the story a lot faster. I mean, you get everything like we're saying the first 12 episodes in the first episode. Um, so yeah, you should watch it. We do get a lot of responses on our Facebook on our super secret club that we're saying I've never read the comics, but now I want to because of the animated show, and I really hope they do.
First, like big chunk of the issues are actually a part of Comixology, whatever the subscription is. So pay the $10 and you get like a big chunk of them right there. If anyone's interested.
Super fast read too.
I lost my Zoom window and I got scared.
Whoa.
I could hear you guys, but I couldn't see you, and I didn't know if you were still around. Oh, wow, he's gone. That's all I got in the tank. You guys got anything else you want to talk about?
Can we talk about Psycho Goreman more?
Oh man, I'd love to.
It's pretty great. They're going to do a watch along actually. I think this weekend with the director.
Oh,
really? On what?
Where?
I think it's just gonna be on Twitter though. It's gonna be like,
cool.
okay, everyone press play, and then
cool.
just do live tweets.
I'm off this weekend, and I will happily partake of that.
This weekend is a first D&D campaign with a bunch of other podcasts and Sean's DMing. So if you listen to our podcast episodes before, Sean DM'd our D&D episode, and he was willing to take on another campaign. Bunch of people from around the world that we just know through podcasts on Twitter. And so we got Ireland and London and
it should have been your character
Virginia.
names.
So was that?
Those should have been your character names.
Just the places we're from?
Yeah.
I'm from Fresno.
I'm Fresno, the
barbarian. Yeah, I'm actually playing a barbarian. I forget the race.
Yeah, Azimir.
Azimir. Yeah, I always want to. Yeah, I guess I'd say Azimir.
Or Azimir.
But Azimir. What you call me? And so, yeah, that's this Saturday.
You guys are gonna record it too, though.
Yeah, we're gonna record it, and I'm not sure if we're gonna create a new just YouTube channel just to have it up there. Post just for funsies. Don't even have a name yet. I'm sure it'll just come up during that campaign.
Yeah, well, I look forward to watching it too.
I don't know how to stream it.
Just Twitch. What in my regular game, one of our players is streaming it on Twitch, and she really just has the Zoom, or we're using Roll20, and so she just streams that window. But Roll20 has the map and everything on it. That's what Sean's using though, I think.
Yeah, he's sharing his screen, and we're using Zoom because that's a little bit better.
Okay.
Quality on sound, and we found out Roll20 we just keep dropping in and out. So I love Roll20 for the map, but the audio and just talking with each other wasn't great.
Yeah.
So we'll do that. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully we don't die on our first campaign. First day of it.
I know you guys are in the Rime of the Frost Maiden.
Yeah.
Literally like
that
the
brand
thing
new,
of
right?
campaigns. What's that?
That's brand new, right?
Not brand new now. That's one of the newest ones though.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm excited. We'll have to update and I'll let you guys know.
Okay.
That's about it.
I had nothing else to add to that. I'm happy to hear people playing Dungeons and Dragons though.
Yeah. I'm being such a big sucker for Critical Role now too. I have to watch it live too. I'm that person now.
I realized why I don't watch Critical Role. I tried to watch it before. It's really, really good. Like it's really good. It just makes me want to play D&D, and I know I absolutely do not have the time to devote to it. So then it makes me sad. Because even this week, I'm just like, I could play in a D&D game, and I'm like, for this week, and then I immediately go back to like never having time again.
It's getting really good.
One-offs exist. Also, if you really are serious about that, you can look at eventually, because you can literally just go online, find like a pickup game, and then that's it. And then you can play again with your same character whenever you want, potentially with a different group, but your character gets to go with you wherever you want. It's kind of like Wizards official D&D stuff, and you got to register your character with like your DCI number and keep track of your where and when you got items and all that. But it's perfect for people that just want to pick up a game every now and then. So that's the thing.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Alrighty,
Nerds.
but I think we're
Goddamn
outta here.
nerds.
Yep.
That's so many things open. Sorry. Like I accidentally minimized my Zoom window and there's so many things open and it's freaking me out. Having to close everything. Yeah, I always feel like I have something I'm supposed to say at the end of this, but I don't. So I'm just gonna sit here
Kind of
quietly.
just trail off. Usually every episode is just like, yeah, man, I think we're good. And oh, it's the socials. Okay.
Bye.
Okay, so follow us on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. Everything that you need on our social medias. I mean, have us as a TikTok account too, like the cool kids. So that's linktr.ee /3 hours later. The number 3 and hours later is all spelled out. That's it. That's us. Until next time, be kind to
Bye.
each other.
Yeah, don't be assholes.
Don't be assholes.
Oh,
Bye.
what? Wait, hold on. That's all I have.